yeah. Beyond the vows, where the truth gets real. Faith and love, yeah, that's the deal. WC and Maria, bringing that glow. Tuesday nights is the show you gotta know.
Love ain't a moment, it's a movement we found. Beyond the vows, where the real talk sounds. From single to married, decades deep. Together we rise, where the promise is key.
Lessons in laughter, faith in the mix. Every story a bond, every challenge a fix.
SKST,
Tune in, don't be late.
7 p.m.
Fan trip,
let's elevate. So come vibe with us.
Good evening, good evening. It's that time again. It's that time again for your favorite show of shows here in the beautiful city of Virginia Beach at the awesome studios of SKST TV Podcast Studios. Here, you are here with Beyond the Vows with W.C. Brown and
Maria Brown.
Yep, they can hear you. You put the mic right there. Yep. And so we come every week. We have exciting. We've had some exciting shows here lately, and dealing with a lot of subjects that are really, really, really important. First, as always, our sponsor is Deaf Child Hope org. DeafChildHope.org. This is the time when you get an opportunity to sponsor a child who is not only in poverty, but who cannot hear. Okay? DeafChildHope.org. And we're on that mission again. We're still on that same mission to get 1,000 children sponsored by the end of the year. Help us to help them change their lives and make their lives more profitable, more meaningful. You know, a lot of these kids have never even communicated with anybody. If you look on the screen, some of these are the most beautiful children. Okay, that's the symbol for I love you, and they love us, and we love them. So go and do that today. Look at the website and see, just grab a child that really touches your heart. So anyway, we've got a special, and I emphasize in quotation, special guest on tonight. And all our guests are really special. So we're just appreciative. And we have my good friend, she's done left Virginia and went all the way out to Cali. You know, he didn't tell nobody, but that's all right. But Jacqueline Slaughter is here tonight, and she's on California time, so she will get a chance to go to sleep a little bit later than we will, because we'll be over 3-hour time difference, isn't it right, Jacqueline?
That's right. There you go.
Oh my God. Jacqueline, listen, I thank you so much. You have definitely been a force here in Virginia. You had a show on WTJZ Praise Radio, which was a great show, and I know it helped some of the things that you had going on with your financial literacy and insurance and just all of that. So that's basically what we're going to talk about tonight. But you have experienced some things that we talk about Beyond the Vows, which is not just, this what happens beyond the I do's, and how so many, our guest last week had 3 divorces, and I said, well, you're in good company because I had 3 and what have you. And you recently just went through that. And but first, tell everybody, tell Lottie Dottie and everybody who Jacqueline, formerly Randolph, who Jacqueline Slaughter is.
Well, thank you so much to the Browns. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very, very pleased to be here. Hello, everyone. I'm Jacqueline Slaughter. I am someone who enjoys meeting people. I'm a person who truly, truly lights up when I get to meet good people. And I know I'm talking to, and I'm here with good people all across the world. And so I enjoy basically working with people, helping people, having a sincere conversation with people about so many important things, such as finances and such as life insurance. My whole thing is to make sure people are protected, and most importantly, have a person that they can come to for that protection, for that life insurance. There is so much, Maria and Willie, there is so much information out there, and it just becomes noise. You hear so much out there about commercials, and this is this price, and this is that price, and this is so cheap, and this is so. And a lot of misinformation is given, and it's so unfortunate. So my goal is to be there, to be a resource for you, to have something in place that's going to be perfect for you, that's affordable, and that works for you. So that's my mission, is just to help people find something that they're happy with and make sure people do have that important life insurance protection in place.
Wow, that is great. Now, as we keep the show, we're very realistic on this show. And can you just tell us what you've gone through with this this new chapter of your life?
Yes, and let me just do this real quick. Let me give you, in case something may interest you, let me just give you quickly my phone number. 757 area code. Still have a Virginia area code. 757. I still have my Virginia area code.
Keep that. Well, thank you very much.
757-630-3796. That's 757-630-3796.
So they call you, they got to know that there's a 3-hour time difference. So
there is a 3 hour.
They call you at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yes. It's actually 5 o'clock where you are.
Exactly.
That's a disclaimer. Okay, go ahead.
So that's a disclaimer. So just to let you know, so I've been married before. And divorced. This is not my first divorce, unfortunately, but it happens. And it's tough. You go into this and you think it's going to be forever and ever, and sometimes things happen, and sometimes things don't work out the way you had planned. But that is okay. And the reason I say it's okay, I'm talking on a financial perspective. There is a way to be able to come back from that. So I want people to have that assurance. Not everyone's going to have to go through this in the first place, so that's even better. But whether you're in a marriage or you're not in a marriage, what have you, there's some helpful tips that I'd like to share that can really help to make sure, or to continue to ensure, what you have in place, and make sure that you are both on good footing. That's just very, very important. I meet with lots and lots of people, and married couples and partners and such, and singles, and there's just some basic principles that are always very, very important to have. And so just to finish this off, so I did go through that transition and just had to kind of figure out how I was going to maintain and go forward.
Right, because I guess it can become scary, right? It can become scary making that transition.
Of course, scary. But how did you know that it was just over?
Well, we just had differing ideas on some things, and those differing ideas just created some problems, and had to kind of decide how we're going to negotiate this, and it just seemed to be the best thing, that we were just not going to be compatible.
I'm sure it was scary for you.
Very. Very.
Well, how did you come to the realization that, okay, this is what it is and this is what I got to do? Because I'm sure there's some people out in the audience that want to know, okay, look, I'm going through this right now. I'm scared. I don't know which way to go. Can you give them some type of pointers of what they can do to make life a little bit better for them after divorce.
After the okay. Well, see, my situation, just to give you a little, the reason I, picked up and moved out back to California was I had my father passed. And so, my father passed. And so I knew that we were having some troubles in the marriage, what have you. But it just kind of all came together where I needed to make this move. I needed to be of support to my mother, who's in her 90s, and be supportive here. So it just kind of all came together in a way. But once you have the prayer and what I do after I pray is I write, and I kind of write and it flows. It's kind of, Lord is speaking to me as I write. Mm-hmm. And it was clear to me at that point that I needed to make this move, and I needed to come out here and be a support to my mother. And so I dealt with two different mourning twice, mourning the end of the divorce and mourning my best friend who was, my father, and just having to, make that shift and make that transition was tough. So yeah. But there is life after a difficult divorce. Yes, there definitely.
Yeah. I think the world has a misconception about folk who are in God. The saints. That we're not supposed to go through that, and this, that, the other. But to actually do what's going to be best for you, and but I think one thing that's very, very important in what you just said, you were telling me, I'm trying to remember what it is you told me. You were telling me a lot of good stuff.
I know. I did.
I'll be intentional to make this work. And that I know it was. We were talking about being the protectors. Being the protectors, and I'm not trying to drudge out everything about your marriage and everything, but there are many women who, like you said, then their spouses but do not become their protectors, and that you have to take on so much. And now I'm finding out with your mother passing away, you have our definitely condolences and prayers that all that piled up at one time, and you're still looking good. You're still making it happen. Which is a testament to what your faith is like. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like you haven't missed a beat. In that, and so that is great. So one thing, Jacqueline, we want to definitely talk about is we've discussed about these when a spouse passes away. Financial planning. How can we do things like people on the way here? My wife was saying there's a lot of things she hasn't been able to do. Well, what is it? How we accomplished and things like that. And you don't want to have those regrets. Okay. Can you speak to basically what like a financial plan? I mean, there's so much to a financial plan, but what is the one most basic thing that every couple should do?
Okay. Right. Yes. Because let's be honest. When two people come together, they're going to come together with different financial histories and different habits, because the way that one person learned about money could have been that money is scarce, and you have to save every penny.
Right.
The next the other person may have learned that money is abundant, and not that you have to waste it, but that money is available at all times and money is easy to earn. So that could then cause a real issue with the couple, because one person is trying to squirrel that money away, perhaps, and the other person may say, yeah, let's save, but there's always more coming. It's just a hypothetical example. So, because everyone brings something to the table, but this is what I would say. It's very important to discuss that income, the income of the two people, discuss their debt, discuss their credit, their spending habits, their savings, and the goals. That don't forget the goals, because the goal is that the two come together and talk about what do we want to accomplish together? What is it we're going to do together? Mm-hmm. And once you talk about what those goals are going to be, this is how we're going to get there. That's very, very important. It's extremely important that that happens.
Right. So does every goal have to be together? I mean, is it okay to have an individual goal?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yes. One person may say, that's great. We're going to do these things together. Perfect. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, this is I'm a antique car collector, and I want to have these number of cars in my collection. Right. So I'm going to squirrel some money away so that I can have these antique cars. Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, let's figure out how we need to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you kind of called me out right a while ago when you said that just spending because there's more coming, and I had to learn a hard lesson that when you do that, anything can happen, and what you thought was coming didn't come, and now I'm looking stupid because I'm like, oh my God, it depends so much on what we think is coming, and not when you're saving up for that rainy day or the emergency funds. So your company is, and I like the name of the company because it's Serious Conversations. Is that right?
Sincere,
yeah.
Sincere Conversations Financial.
How did they come up with that?
You know what? And this is true. This was divinely inspired. Uh-huh. It was divinely inspired because Sincere Conversations is something that I created and developed, and it was a message I got that this is the name of your company, Sincere Conversations, because Jacqueline, you need to have that sincere conversation with that individual or that couple. Right. And my whole thing is that when I speak to someone, I want them to know that I'm listening. I am intentional about seeing what I can do to put these individuals in a good spot, in a good place. Mm-hmm. I am here to make sure that I listen to your needs and your desires so that I can see what I can do to find a plan that's going to work for you. And that's so important to me, like I mentioned before, because there's just too much misinformation out there. And I don't want people to get any more BS. I want to be able to get you the clear information that you need. So
when you talk about misinformation, what are some of the most
I call it misinformation. I'm being kind, but when I see these commercials that come on television about life insurance, and they misrepresent the price of this life insurance. It's $9.99 or $9.95 or whatever they say. And I sit there and I cringe and I say, I really hope people don't believe this. Because if you're going to spend $9.95, most likely, depending on how old you are, you're going to get about $700, period, full stop.
Of coverage.
If you spend $1,995, you're going to get like $1,000 if you're one age, $700 if you're another age. But they're not telling you the true, the true information about that particular product. And I can just, if the people just come to me and say, Jacqueline, can I just find something that's real? Mm-hmm. I'm an independent broker. I have about 20 or so companies that I work with. I can help the people find something that's going to work regardless of the health, taking all that into consideration, that's going to work for them. And my goal is to find someone first aid coverage if I can. The $995 program is going to give you a 2-year wait. No, literally 2-year wait, and you're only going to get $700.
And I did it about no medical exam needed, pre-existing conditions accepted. And so, let me just tell you, when I tried, because of my disability, student military, I've had some companies that was wanting to charge me, for like maybe $10,000-$20,000 of coverage. We're talking, they wanted like $600-$700 in premiums. That's
yeah. And I'm going to cut through all of that and get the best thing I can get for you. And if you're eligible for it, because I can help anyone between the ages 0 to 89, if you can believe that. I've got that range of companies to help anyone between 0 to 89.
89.
89, yeah,
Okay.
89. If you're eligible for it, you qualify for it, I'm going to get you some living benefits. And you say, what the heck is that? So living benefits is a type of wonderful feature that some of these companies have and some of these products have, where heaven forbid you get a critical illness. So we're talking about a massive stroke, a massive heart attack, invasive cancer, some of these other debilitating diseases where you're flat on the back, you're in the hospital bed, or you're at home in your bed and you need a nurse. Critical illness, chronic illness. So if there's 6 activities of daily living: eating, walking, transferring, getting up out of the chair and standing up, toileting, bathing. If you can't do 2 out of the 6 activities by yourself and you need a nurse, or a terminal illness, you have 12 months or less to live, then if you have this product and you have these living benefits, you can access your money in your policy. So if you have, let's say, $100,000 policy with one of my companies and you have living benefits, I gave it to you, I told you you had it. Later on, you develop this illness that I just described. You can take 80 to 90% of that 100,000 while you're alive and pay your hospital bills, get a wheelchair ramp installed for your house, pay for the nurse, pay for your mortgage payments, whatever the case may be. You can access this while you're alive. The doctor just needs to sign off and say, yes, this is a debilitating illness, blah, blah, blah. But yes, it's called living benefits. And it's an amazing, amazing feature that we can help people with.
I mean, it's like, because I took out actually, what's crazy is taking out a loan on your insurance policy and having to pay back your own money plus interest. And they'll send you a letter saying, hey, you didn't make your loan payment. So how does that work with that, taking that money out?
Yeah, that's a little different. That's with our whole life policies, that you do have to pay that back. And if you don't, then they do subtract that.
From the face value.
Right, from your death benefit.
Yeah,
Right.
it just, to me, it was just ludicrous having to pay interest on my own money.
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are we talking about, like pre-existing? Because like I said, it's real scary for me. I've got some policies, but it got really scary because I want to make sure she's good when I'm gone, and I don't want to wait till I'm gone for us to start using what we got.
Right.
And that's the kind of policy you're talking about.
Right. We do have some policies. You have to qualify for them, but we do have some policies that do allow for that. So, yeah, there's all kinds of things that are available. There's mortgage protection insurance. It's a life insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you, I always do it like this. I say Mickey and Minnie. So if Mickey passes and they have a mortgage protection, Minnie Mouse can continue to make those payments on that home. So she didn't have to move out. She doesn't have to sell the house. She can keep the house. She didn't have to move in with her mother, and take her little mice with her.
Yeah.
So it's that type of thing. It's mortgage protection is very, very important if you own a home. Is just to get something on, so that if you become impaired, or you pass, the rest of the family can stay in that house. That's really, really critical.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking about Minnie keeping the clubhouse. That way they can stay on Disney. You have some questions about that? No
just answered it.
No, I mean about because we want our audience to know that this is so important. This is I can't stress enough how many families, I was saying before, to keep going to funerals where the spouse had no insurance,
right?
Nothing protect them, and they got a GoFundMe going online. And me as a musician to hear, can you come, preach the funeral, or can you play for the funeral? We ain't got no money to pay you, but we really appreciate you.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like that. That's the whole thing. Is it just doesn't have to be like that. If people would understand, I mean, we have to get we have to get auto insurance. We have to get homeowners insurance to protect the bank for the loan. We get cell phone insurance. Life insurance is not required. It's not required. But yet it's not required, but yet it's strongly advised. Strongly recommended, okay? because basically it's not required because we're in a capitalistic country and basically you're responsible for yourself. But that means that somebody's got to pay for that. Somebody's going to be out, they have to go into their pocket and pay for that. Right. Let the insurance company pay for it. That's what they're there for. That's what I say. Yeah. Can I make one more thing?
Yeah, please.
Is everyone, you listen to my voice, please hear this. Life insurance should be on everybody, and I mean everybody, including children. And you may say, what? Children? It's not about expecting a tragedy. That's not it. It's about giving that child a financial cushion so that one day, if that child needs it, there's a savings account attached to that policy.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then when that child becomes 105 and it's time for them to do something else, right? Not on this earth, that it's locked in at a very, very inexpensive price, because you got it when they were a child. The other thing I want to talk about is there's something called $1 Million Baby.
Okay.
Now, let me
$1 Million Baby.
I'm going to tell you $1 Million Baby. So let me give you the phone number again, because I'm getting ready to get some good stuff here, guys.
Okay.
There you go. 757-630-3796. $1 Million Baby. What is that? So you can protect your children. And with one of the products that I offer, we are able to lock them into what's called an IUL. It's an Index Universal Life product. That product is going to accumulate a cash value. It's going to, because what it's doing is it's using the index in the S&P. It's not in the market. So don't worry, it's not no risk. It's not in the market. It mimics the market. So it just looks at the index and goes, okay, let's see if we can give a little more here, a little more there. And when the market goes down, you lose absolutely nothing. It just stays at a stable. Yeah. So at the age of 40-ish, if you get it when they're a little baby or a little child or toddler, when they're in their 40s, there's a possibility that baby may be worth $1 million. Because
you know what? Jacqueline, I want you to hold that thought. We're going to go to commercial. And when we come back with Beyond the Vows, we're going to talk more about the $1 million baby right here on Beyond the Vows.
Beats at roll.com. Well, we're back with our great friend Jacqueline Slaughter of Sincere Conversations. Jacqueline, so before we went to break, you were talking about $1 Million Baby. And I think there was a movie called $1 Million Baby, but I don't think this is not what that's talking about.
Right.
Hit us with it again.
Yeah, so there is a product called the Index Universal Life product, but it does accrue a pretty nice cash value. And if you structure it a certain way, what we're able to do is provide young children an opportunity to, as it accrues, when they're in their 40s, that child becomes an adult in their 40s, there's a good chance we may be able to get to $1 million in their cash accumulation. So we can aggressively structure that aggressively so that they can have that kind of money. So think about it. Let's say somebody's in their 40s and they say, let me see what I have here because I'd like to put a down payment. I mean, even if it's not $1 million, if it's a good amount, I'd like to put a down payment on a home. I'd like to, be able to pay off some debt. I'd like to be able to do whatever the case may be, go on a vacation. So having that structured, we're able to do some really fabulous things.
Yeah. Does that apply to like grandchildren as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I would be in trouble because I have over 40 grandchildren.
Wow.
I wouldn't know where to start.
Wow. Yes.
Oh, man.
And that's another thing is that I have people that get, like, let's say it's not the $1 Million Baby, but it's a simple children's whole life policy. You know, you've heard of Gerber. I use something very similar to Gerber, but it's just I have plans that go up to 75,000 in whole life.
I think I had Gerber.
Children's, okay, it's a children's whole life product. I can get people something in place. I have plans that are like $10 a month. That's not the 75,000, but I do have plans that are like maybe $10 a month, you know, $20 a month, what have you. But just to get that child some protection. So again, that stays in place. That never, ever goes up whole life. So when they're 80 years old, that's still the same, whatever, 10 or 20 or $30 that they've always paid when they're at that age.
Okay, so now, Jack, we're going to go to insurance 101, okay?
Okay.
Can you explain to the audience the difference between term, whole life, universal life, double term, decreasing term? I mean, there's so many things that we learned when we took the insurance course, you know, that people really need to understand.
So term insurance, this is one of the things I love to do is to explain. I've taught at the community college, so I enjoy teaching. So term insurance, whenever you hear the word term, it means temporary. Mm-hmm. Think of it like terminal, or something will term out. It means it's time. It has a time limit. So and that's where you find that people have policies that go away. That's a term policy. It's like 10, 20, 30 year term. So after you get a 20-year term, it's going to be gone after 20 years, and you get absolutely nothing after that. It's gone.
Not even what you put into the policy.
Well, that we do have those. Those are cashback term policies. I do offer those, right? Okay. So, and I believe me, if I look at term for someone, I'm going to look at that for them because I want them to have value. My whole thing is I need to give value if I'm going to get you something. So I'm going to do the very best I can. But straight term, if we're talking about just straight term, it does not pay out after that term is over. Now, before I go on to the other one, let me tell you why somebody would want a term possibly. So the reason term is not a bad idea is if you do have a lot of debt and it's so well priced, term insurance, for a large amount. And you know that debt is going to be a 20, 30 year debt, like a home or what have you. It's an option to get it for that time period. It's an option, okay? Now, maybe there's better options, but that's not a bad option. So if you know that you have a certain amount of time that you need to cover a debt, that's not a bad option. However, whole life is life insurance that is going to be there forever until you pass. So most of the policies that I write are going to be a whole life product. Most people don't care for a term. They want something that's going to be there, but they're usually smaller amounts because whole life is more expensive than term. Term is fairly cheap for what you get. And you get large amount, but it's going to go away. What you do not want is what's called an increasing term.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say the name of the company, but there is a company out there that advertises and comes in the mail. And it's an increasing term. It's like a junk mail, basically. And do you want me to say the name of it?
Yeah, put them out there.
Okay. Okay. Well, it comes in a flyer. I think it's USAA markets it, and it's an increasing term. And the thing that's concerning to me about it is that every 5 years, there's a band. So let's say you get it when you're 50. When you're 55, it's going to go up. When you're 60, that's going to go up. When you're 65, that's going to go up. Every 5 years, that's going to go up. And it gets to the point that it may not seem a whole lot at first, but as you continue going up and you have that USAA policy, it is going to really go up. Really, 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 really go up.
That's great. I've been for USA. I've been with USA for 30 years almost.
Yeah, no, that's fine, but it's the
Never
life
insurance.
insurance that's and that's not even the life insurance company. There's a company underneath them that writes it. So, but they market it. USAA markets it. So, I don't like anything that increases. I don't think that's fair. So that is out there that people need to be aware of that.
What happens with the face amount of increasing term? Stay the same? Oh no!
It's just going to cost more. It's just going to cost more. As you got older, it's going to cost more. I don't appreciate that. I would never do that to someone. I wouldn't want that. So why would I do that to somebody else?
Well,
and then there's the IUL, like I mentioned before, which you have to qualify for. Now that's you have to be in pretty ship-shape health for either a term or IUL. So there's kind of strict height and weight guidelines. There's strict health, pre-existing illnesses may be a concern depending on what it is. But those are permanent. So again, that's going to last your whole life, and it's going to accrue a certain cash value too. So there's some different things that we do offer, and I've got different carriers, insurance carriers, like the big names, like the Transamericas, Americo, the big ones, Foresters, that offer some really nice perks inside of the policy. So it's nice to have some choices for people.
yeah, I was just thinking how important. How people make sure we got our car insurance, and you get in an accident, tear your car up, and you're all mangled up, and you got no life insurance. Only body that gets help is the car. That's the only one that gets something.
Yes, exactly.
You walk around broken, busted, and somebody else can buy your car. So the Browns are sitting in sincere conversations. We have walked in. What is the very first thing that happens when somebody comes to see you?
Please get comfortable.
We come in with a plan, or you ask us and say, "So, what can I do for you all today?"
Absolutely, yes. What is it that I can assist with? I get the snapshot, and then I take out what's called a financial inventory, and I start taking notes. So they're kind of talking about what they're interested in, what they already have, and this is the thing I will tell you, people. This is tell everybody here. If you have work insurance, that's wonderful. Keep it, but I don't consider that true that you truly have your own policy. Why? Because you don't own that policy.
The employer does.
You do not own it. You have a certificate. You don't even have a policy. You have a certificate. The employer owns the policy. You own a certificate of the policy. So a lot of people are not aware of that. Again, I'm at 757-630-3796 if you want more information. But a lot of people are not aware that their work policy doesn't stay with them if they leave for whatever reason. They separate from it stays with the employer. So, but back to you. So I will find out what they already have. I find out who their beneficiary is. What brought them to me? What is it that made you come in and say, "Hey, Jacqueline, I really need something." Did someone pass? Are you just thinking now that did you have a birthday and you're like, what? I'm getting older. I think I need to look into this. What spurred your thought process? Because not everybody, we don't all walk around saying, I need to get life insurance. But something may have. Did you have a conversation at Thanksgiving dinner and somebody says, we need to all get protected? What happened? So I want to know that. And then what is your budget situation like, and what would be, what would you like to protect, and how do we want to do that, and just get some basics, and then I will help to customize a plan. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, some people, I believe, when they get to a certain age, they feel like they don't have enough time. Back when I was, in my 20s, people who were like 65 to me were just old, And now I'm 66, getting ready to hit 67, and I'm like, there's some financial things that I don't have that I really want to make sure I have. But then, of course, the fear for you, the pre-existing conditions, how long is it going to take to come to fruition? Like you were talking about earlier, the living benefit. You know what I'm saying? Does that benefit somebody of my age?
Right. Yeah, living benefits are so important, and it can benefit so many people for so many things.
Yeah.
And it's just, a lot of people just are not aware of it. I mean, it's just, They don't know that. So it's one of those things that we try to get the information out. The other thing I wanted to share too is that I also help with safe retirement. So you might say, well, what's that? So there are, our 401ks, our TSPs, all of our stocks, things that are in the market. I don't work with anything in the market. I work with things that are safe. So there are vehicles that are out there. They're basically private pension plans, where if you just have an old 401k. Now, let me tell you, before I jump on, let me tell you why this is passionate to me. So during 2008, during the whole Great Recession, I lost my job. I was at Norfolk State. I lost my job. And my 403B, which is like a 401k, but in the school system, 403B, was reduced by 50% because I didn't take it out and I didn't transfer it into something else. I didn't know better. This is before I got into life insurance. So I lost money that I would not have lost if I had it in a private pension plan, safe retirement. So if you have, talking to your listeners, have an old 401k that's just sitting out there, if you have an old TSP, if you have money in the stock market, if you have money that's just sitting in the bank losing interest, I can help protect that money and put it in what's called an annuity. And what's going to happen is that it's either if you decide if you want income or you want to be able for it to be for retirement purposes. We can structure it so that you get paid out every single month for the rest of your life. And it just pays you. It just pays you. And so it's a long, more complicated conversation to have. But I'm just whetting the appetite for people that are in this situation and they are saying, I need to find a vehicle that's safer than my 401k, that's safer than the TSP, that's safer than the stocks, that's safer than the savings account, and put it in something that's going to be able to pay me back. That's one scenario, and be income or what have you. So these are things that people just need to know about that's available.
So that sounds like there's a buffet of stuff. Like a regular buffet, you pick what you like and leave the rest. Now,
Absolutely.
one thing I do want to ask you is, I deal with a lot of veterans.
Yes.
The sad thing is so many veterans are not eligible for any veteran benefits due to their discharges. I can call it. I have a brother that got a less than honorable discharge way back in the 80s and has been fighting forever to get that discharge upgraded. Okay, and some of them find it hard to get insurance. And I know the VA, this SGLI or the VGLI,
Yes.
and they think that is all the be all end all.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
to our
And that's
veterans.
one of the conversations that I have when I speak with veterans, because that's another niche that we work with, are veterans.
Uh-huh.
And the VGLIs, the SGLI, they're going to, at some point, because that's a term policy, essentially. They're term policies. So we have really good programs for our veterans. And so my understanding is they're looking for something that's permanent, that's going to be there for the rest of their life. And that's what I offer. That's what we do. So yes, I have a teammate. I've got a teammate that's a veteran himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's really good with working with veterans. We have all the information to help them. But yes, that is something that we definitely want to make sure they understand what they're eligible for and get them into something that they can have.
Yeah, that's been real critical. I just got a letter saying that, hey, we're gonna up you to 40,000, on your VGLI. And like I said, that's another thing, misinformation. And the Bible talks about we perish for the lack of knowledge.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what about, we got about 9 minutes left, as it relates to credit? Do you have any credit counseling or any, because, we want to see what people have. A lot of people have a lot of debt and may not have, it's a shame to say not have the disposable income to get life insurance, because life insurance is so important that money should be sacrificed so that you take care of. How does that relate, as far as people who are having some credit challenges?
The good thing is that most of our programs are not at all related to their credit. So we can get people covered. That's really fantastic. So that's very, very important. So, and what I would say, just spending on disposable income, is my goal is to find something that's affordable. Credit challenges or no credit challenges. Find something that's affordable. Because I know that if someone wants those final needs taken care of, that funeral home is going to work with that family. So if they don't have as much as they would like to have, that funeral director is going to work with them. If they have something, that's one thing that I offer. The other thing that I offer too is I offer a legacy program. And that legacy program is going to be something that is attached. It's complimentary, right? So they can put all of their wonderful information. So if Mrs. Johnson gets a policy with me, I'm going to also sign her up for a legacy program, which is going to also give her an opportunity to put all her passwords in, to put all of her wishes, her final wishes, to put all of the information that her family may not really know. Because all of that information is going to be safeguarded and put into this program, so that when that time comes, they're not going to be tearing things apart, trying to find things, going through the file drawers, but everything is in a nice little profile that they can utilize to be able to have that for the family. So it's a matter of, really trying to give that white glove treatment.
And then people need to understand that this is not going to happen overnight. They think I'm getting some money the following month, things like that. So is there a minimum? I've always wanted to ask this question. Is there a minimum amount of insurance that somebody should have? It's just like, because the rising costs of funerals, the rising costs of this, that, and the other. Is there an amount where the family don't have to struggle?
Well, if you go to the funeral.com or whatever the funeral sites are that give you the average, it's generally between at least 10,000. I mean, it can be a lot more, but it's generally. But I tell people, if you can afford 5, get it.
5,000.
Yes, yes, because at least the funeral home can work with you because you've got something.
Yeah.
I mean, and I work with people that want cremation. I mean, I work with people that want whatever they want. You know, we're going to find something that's going to be in your budget that's going to take care of this. And if you can only afford what you can afford today, you're going to have my phone number. Call me later. Call me when you have a little more. We're going to add to it. And get you. The other thing I want people to know is that I am licensed in 17 states across the United States and increasing. So I'm going to be increasing those states. If somebody comes to me and says, Jacqueline, I want something, and I find out I don't have that state, I can get it within a couple of days. So I'll be able to help whomever, you know, needs assistance.
That is huge. That is huge.
Yes.
I know it sure gives me a lot of more hope. What I need,
Absolutely.
what I need to do.
Absolutely.
This has been fire. I tell you, this conversation is long overdue, and it's something that needs to continue. You know, especially for new couples. And when you talked about how funeral homes are working, I lost both my brothers last year back to back within 2 months of each other. And my oldest brother, it took us forever to find his policy, but we found something. And the funeral home, and it also pays to, went to high school with the funeral director, you know, but they worked with, you know, he was cremated. My younger brother, 2 months later, you know, he was cremated. And I don't think he had any insurance, you know. So
Right.
we had to like put some things together, you know. And I don't want any other families to go through what, you know, what we've had to go through,
Right.
you know. And it's to do the right thing and talk to your family, talk to your spouse, talk to a professional. You know, you got a professional here, 757-630-3796. Put that number in your heart. Put it in your shanana, okay? And you can, because we're definitely gonna be calling, you know, because you know it's just something. We got 2 of our kids gonna be getting married soon, and you know we want to be able to tell them, you know, hey, listen, just have a conversation, you know.
And that's one thing I wanted to share.
You know, it's more than just I do and I love you and now
Yes.
we live together. You know, that's when the real thing starts to work. And the earlier you start, the better. You know?
Any life-altering event, marriage, divorce, baby, you know, anything that's new home, that's the time to pull out that insurance policies, try to find out what you have. And if you want your life insurance policy to be reviewed, you know, I got this 10 years ago, don't know what I got. That's what I can do. I can help with that. Even virtually,
Right.
do that.
That is great because, you know, a lot of people have a lot of stuff they just got, especially when the insurance man used to show up to your house to collect your premium. You know, oh, y'all know the insurance man coming in, y'all clean the house, you know, this, that, and the other. And so many things have changed, but they make things sound so attractive.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, they do.
whatever this life, just all those companies, you know, and when you actually get it, there's so much criteria. You have to go
Absolutely.
through. But again, in closing, we got your telephone number, and you also have your email. Just tell us everything again.
Okay, let me give you my
I
email.
want to try to call Jacqueline.
My email is kind of cool because I look at it like Jack in the Box, but it's JAC as in cat, Q as in queen, S as in Sam, inbox, INBOX @gmail.com. I'll say it again. It's JACQS inbox @gmail.com. So if you prefer to email me, you certainly can.
That's huge. Well, Jacqueline, thank you so much. We're going to have you on again, and the email is there on the screen, and make sure you folks take advantage of that. That is here. That's what we do from here. Beyond the Vows, and just remember, guys, we're going to bring you more than just what's required beyond the I do's. We're going to give you a lesson on how to live how to make everything that you do a lot better and leave a legacy for your family. Okay? All right? So on that closing, Jacqueline, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be seeing you. And people have time to call you because it's only 5 o'clock there. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta go to bed. All right? All right. Good night. Take care.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye-bye now.
Some kind of way.